Hi everyone. KINO LORBER is having their spring sale. I believe it started yesterday, April 6th. I'm recording this on April 7th. It will go on till April 24th. That will be the last full day of the KINO LORBER sale. I thought I would spotlight some of the movies, some of the Blu-rays and UHDs that they've released. Some are fairly recent. And movies that I would very much like to recommend. I only have 2 UHDs. I believe there's 18 UHDs that are part of this sale. So all the movies that I'm going to recommend, I double check to make sure they are on the sale. So first up on the UHD front is Clint Eastwood's High Plains Drifter. And this does indeed come with a slipcover. And this is one of Eastwood's best westerns. I did a video on this as part of my series on 1973. This is his kind of tribute to Sergio Leone. He's a kind of the man with no name, and he comes to a western town. He's sort of a ghost-like presence. As all the KINO LORBERs that I have or that I've read about. It looks absolutely great, a great 1970s kind of look to it. It does come with a lot of extras as well, including 2 commentaries, one a historical one with 2 historians, Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson, and we also get a commentary by Alex Cox. If you ever heard of Alex Cox commentary, you know this is something you might want to listen to. And the other UHD that I'm going to spotlight is Marathon Man, also part of my series on 1973, and this is with Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier, again, a slipcase with the same artwork. It has another 70s movie, so it definitely has that 70s look to it. Nathaniel Thompson and Steve Mitchell are also here for, again, for a commentary, and there's a couple of other supplements, features on the making of the film. New York City movie, New York City in the 70s, one of the great movie sets, I think, in movie history. We get a clashing acting style between Dustin Hoffman, the method, and the classical acting of Laurence Olivier. Roy Scheider is also here. It's a movie that I liked very much when I saw it, but then I hadn't seen it in a long, long time, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a very good thriller. And another movie that fairly recently came out is The Lady from Shanghai, and this is starring Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles, and this is a kind of legendary, to some extent, just about all Orson Welles' films are legendary for production problems, if nothing else, but for a very unique visual style in which every shot is something to see. and Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles were married at this time, and Orson Welles famously made her a blonde. But they did divorce soon after the filming was completed. They have some interesting chemistry in here, but this is a film in which everybody is a little bit strange. And Orson Welles playing a sort of everyman kind of character. Again, we get 3 commentaries there. Archival with Peter Bogdanovich, and we get one with Tim Lucas, one with Imogen Sarah Smith. And again, we have a slipcase with alternate art this time. Some more fairly recent releases that are popping up in this sale. Now, KINO LORBER sales, the way they go, I think they have one every season, so this is the spring sale. But none of these titles would have been in the winter sale. They don't duplicate titles. So the next sale, which I guess will be the summer sale, if I get my seasons right, none of these titles will be in the summer sale. So recently, KINO has released a bunch of Francois Truffaut movies, and very much necessary because these weren't on Blu-ray in Region A. The story of Adele H. This has got a fantastic performance by Isabelle Adjani. It's the true life story of Adele H., who was the daughter of Victor Hugo. So it's set in the 1800s, and it is a story of romantic obsession. I think it's one of Truffaut's best films. We get a Julie Kyrgo and Nick Redman commentary. It's absolutely excellent. Movie looks fantastic as well. And we do, in fact, get a slipcase with the same cover art. Another Truffaut, The Bride Wore Black, with Jean Moreau. And this is Truffaut's adaptation of a Cornell Woolrich story. It's a really good adaptation. Jean Moreau, Truffaut later on thought that he had miscast Jean Moreau in this film. And she's very mysterious, and it's a story that, if you've seen Kill Bill, I think you have an idea of exactly what this story is going to be about, as this bride who wore black, she exacts revenge on a bunch of rather ineffectual men who have evaded their responsibilities and ethical and moral responsibilities. So she's going to enact revenge on these men. Julie Kyrgo, Stephen Smith, Nick Redman, another great commentary. They also, I have done videos on those last two Truffaut movies. I've not yet gotten to the Francois Truffaut collection, which includes The Wild Child, Man Who Loved Women, The Green Room, and what's the other one? Small Change. Now, this does indeed have a slipcase with the same cover art, but it has no extras on it at all. But I think it's selling for $20. I mean, this is 4 terrific movies, not on Blu-ray. I don't think any, on Region A, I don't think, Twilight Time may have had the Blu-rays of the previous two Truffaut titles. I'm not sure that any of these 4 titles have ever been on Blu-ray. They seem to have been. They seem like they should be on Criterion, but Criterion does have a lot of Truffaut movies in their collection. And then we get. I want to talk about this one. Ain't Hope to Die, directed by Rennie Clement. It's a Euro crime movie. It's set in Canada, however, and the cast is just superb, especially Jean-Louis Trintignant and Robert Ryan. And you talk about a clash of acting styles, not really a clash of acting styles, but different generations. And one of Robert Ryan's last films, and I just found this so much fun. It's so over the top, entertaining. And I believe we get an audio commentary by Howard Berger, Steve Mitchell, Nathaniel Thompson. So they're KINO LORBER standbys. This is one of by far the majority of KINO titles that don't have much extras, but they usually give you a commentary. And also, this is another fairly recent release, I think just last month, maybe February. Let's Hope It's a Girl. This is an Italian comedy with an international cast: Liv Ullmann and Catherine Deneuve, Stefani Sandrelli, Philippe Noir. It's directed by Mario Monticelli, who made Big Deal on Madonna Street, The Organizer. This is a film from the 80s. It's actually a Raro video that KINO distributes, and it's really a film that it's nothing fantastic. It's not as good as Monticelli's early films, but it has a very modern sense to it, in the fact that we come to the conclusion as we see a group of women having to survive because the men in their lives simply aren't up to the task. And there's a great punchline. The title itself is a very good punchline. I don't think there is much in the way of extras here. I don't think there is a commentary. There are a couple of featurettes, however. Now I want to go back to some real old films and that are included in this sale. This is John Farrow's Alias Nick Beale with Audrey Totter, Ray Milland, and Thomas Mitchell. This is a Faust in Hollywood story. It's so atmospheric. This is film noir. which the devil comes to Hollywood, actually it's San Francisco. We get a great commentary from Eddie Muller, who was a good friend of Audrey Totter. He doesn't do too many commentaries anymore, but with Audrey Totter movie, he comes out of retirement, and it's a very entertaining commentary, to be sure. Another fairly recent release was Little Man, What Now? I think this is pre-code 1934, and this is starring Margaret Sullivan, and she's just terrific in this movie, and it's directed by Frank Borzage. I did a series, it was my first director series a couple of years ago on Frank Borzage movies. This is some of his early 30s films when Frank Borzage was considered one of the greatest directors in the world famous film director, and largely forgotten today. This confronts a bit. This is set in Germany, and it does confront sort of the Weimar Republic and the rise of fashions, only off in the distance. But it's the story of a cruel world and how love can transcend a cruel world, which was a ongoing theme of Frank Borzage movies. And Daniel Kremer and Alan Arkish apply a commentary to this. And then I just want to briefly end with some Jacques Rivette films. And these are Cohen Media Film Collection, and they're releasing one Rivette every month. So January, February, March, we've got another one coming up in April. These are late Jacques Rivette films. Now, I will admit that Rivette is an acquired taste. I've not seen any of these before, but I loved Celine and Julie Go Boating, Paris Belongs to Us, The Nun, early films from Rivette up till around 1972 or so. So these are like 80s and 90s films from Rivette. And this is The Gang of Four, and this is a film about there's always genre lurking around. So this is a story of a theater class who are rehearsing a play, a classic play, and directed in the class is run by Beau Luget. And she is like a legendary in the context of this film and in real life too. She's a legendary stage actress, so this is a very prestigious class to get into. But then there's this genre element on the side. One of the girls this is an all-group class, and one of the girls in the class disappears, and so this gang of four tries to investigate to see what happened to their missing friend. Then we have Love on the Ground with Jane Birkin and Geraldine Chaplin. These films, for me at least, really stick in the mind. And Rivette here is, again, a theatrical background where a play is going to be performed in this huge mansion, and the director is a famous director. He's sort of run out of gas. At least within the film, he looks like he's run out of ideas, at least. So we see again a rehearsal of this play. Again, there's a missing person who appears to be hiding in plain sight, but they believe she's missing, and part of the real interest of this film is exploring this mansion. It's just a great set that they use as an area of mystery, a haunted house. It's a ghost story. Rivette's films are really indescribable. They're sort of everything. Now, they've also released Secret Defense. Now, I've not seen this one yet. Again, I think this was the March release, and another one is coming up in April. And I have to say one thing about these Rivette films is the commentaries by Richard Pena, who is one time he was the film director of the New York Film Society, artistic director, and he's a long-time professor at Columbia. And these are some of the despite those credentials, these are very, very disappointing commentaries. He did kind of commentary where they don't do enough research and long gaps, and some of the information you would think any commentary would supply is not being supplied with Pena's commentaries. But nevertheless, if you are in an adventurous mood, Rivette is somebody that once you get on board with his very different, unique wavelength, he can be a lot of fun. So I mentioned earlier that there's UHDs, I think 14 or 16 more besides the two I showed. I'm not going to name them all, but 3 Stanley Kubrick films: Killer's Kiss, The Killing, Paths of Glory, some other big titles like Silence of the Lambs, Some Like It Hot, Death Wish, Escape from Alcatraz. So there's quite a few here. Again, check out their site, 800 some titles to scroll through. And then I think they have a $50, you have to buy $50 to get free shipping, US and Canada only, at least that's the way it's been in the past. But they also have another While Supplies Last sale, ongoing sale, that usually has, 150 titles more on sale. And these are really on sale. And so if you can't get to that 50, you can always pad your order with some of those While Supply Last sales. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. Again, April 24th is the last day of this sale. Comments are welcome, whatever titles you would recommend that are in the sale or that you're going to be picking up. I'll probably be picking up some more UHDs, I think, in this sale. Okay, take care.